Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the second segment of Community Matters, our Saturday night Community Matters show. I'm your host, Abul Hasnat, in place for Adnan Pavel, who has another emergency to attend to, but a very befitting subject for me to take on, GCSEs. GCSEs of 2016-17 that were just undertaken, and how this is pretty much the last batch of the old GCSE grading system, and now we're going to enter next year with 2017-18, which will be the new grading system. So we're looking at this. The telephone number will come across the bottom. I've opened the lines up. If you wish to give us a call and talk about your successes, or even give the rest of NTV viewers advice on how to tackle their GCSE this year, how to tackle the new grading system. Is there any tricks behind it? Is there anything in particular that you might want to share with someone that will help them this year, help the students this year, help the parents this year? There is so much involved in GCSEs. We spent the first segment talking to Maria Chaudhry, who was a success story from Mulberry School in East London, Tower Hamlets, who came out with some marvellous grades, which we spoke about. We are going to continue to speak with Maria about her success, and hopefully the parents that are watching would see the time and effort that these young people have take away from their lives to put into getting these GCSEs. And also for you young people that are watching, you are going to get some very good pointers and very good ideas on what you should do to motivate yourself, what you should do to give yourself that push to go and get those grades, and what the end story is. So we're looking at all of that. I've also got Mariam Chaudhry here with me. She's just entered year 10, shall I say, and she's going to be spending the full 2 years looking at the new grading system. That is what she's going to ultimately achieve, the new grading system, and how she is going to tackle that, and how she's got family to help her, what she's planning to do to meet those GCSEs. And I've got a new guest that's joined me, Brother Khaled Khan, who is from a tuition centre, from the Brighton Tuition Centre, and the importance of tuition for both you students to understand why you should really take on tuition, how that can help you, and also for the parents that are out there, for you to know the importance of tuition, why you should put your children through the tuition, how that would help them. So that's what we're going to look at. Quite a lot of things. I'm going to try to cover it in the remaining two segments that we have. Maria, just as we left off in the last segment, let's pick right up there. So you were saying to me that in year 10, you spent, at the initial stages, you underestimated the GCSEs, and you were spending an hour and a half a day on revision. And then obviously you got a reality check at the end of the year when you sort of rushed your revision, and you started cramming in 3 hours a day, and getting only an A, which I know some people would enjoy that, but for yourself, you set your high standards. Getting only an A really made you think that, hold on, there's a bit more to it. So let's now go into year 11. So when you got to year 11, having got that reality check, your revision timetable and time you're spending on your academics, from an hour and a half, what did that become?
So in year 11, now I need to start from 3 or 4 hours a day, and towards the end increased a bit. And in the holidays, I'd be spending some days like up to 7 to 8 hours just to get done what I needed. And I said earlier how I identified my weaknesses early in the year, such as French, and that's what I really worked on. And in my weekends on Saturday, I'd go into tuition for about 7 hours, and Sunday I'd let myself relax a bit, because I think it's important to balance as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, because where do you cram in some relaxation? Let me just divert a slightly from it, because outside of academic life, outside of studying and everything to do with school, I mean, what sort of things were you doing just to get your mind off schooling life, really? I
was part of quite a few clubs. So there's Model United Nations, there's Civil Rights Club, and you know, in my free time, I'd also just relax for myself.
Let's talk about, I mean, sometimes obviously when you in the Civil Rights Club, for example, I mean, that's what did that involve? Because I mean, clearly you weren't having to worry about your studies, but that had an element of sort of prep behind it as well, didn't it?
So that was an opportunity in our school where we were working towards a trip to the United States, to the White House with the First Lady, and it was something definitely like exciting and something I enjoyed. And there was the academic side where we were learning about the civil rights movement and the history behind it, but it was something that I personally enjoyed, so that's the reason I chose to pursue it.
And it did help you sort of get your mind off studies, but then straight away the next day you'd be back onto it again. Yeah. Okay, good. Maria, probably I want to come to you as well, because seeing your sister's intense Well, you know what? I'm probably making it looking at the worst side of it, but seeing how much time she spends on studying, do you feel that you know there's now a pressure on you to spend that sort of time?
Yeah, and I've been trying. Like I sit down every day for 3 hours after school as well. So I've been working towards how hard she's been working to get this like high grades like her.
How I mean, because you're now going to go through it this year. So how have you planned? Let's really break it down. I mean, what is a typical revision 3-hour spell for you? What do you do?
I do my homework, which isn't really revision, but when I'm done, I like focus on science and math, and I'm mainly on science because that's like a weaker subject of mine. I really want to improve in science as well.
And what sort of revision skills are you using? What revision tricks are you using? Are you using sort of memory card system, or are you just going over topics again?
Yeah,
What's good for you?
I just go over and over. Like I just like when I read, I remember things. So I just read it over and over, or like from textbooks and things. So.
Okay. Hyder, I want to bring you into this. First of all, welcome to NTV Community Matters. I really appreciate you coming along, and I think, I mean, tuition's become such a big thing in this day and age. You know, I remember going back when I did my GCSEs 2 decades ago, that we had no tuition. We just went and sat our exams. But just to start with, tell us the benefits of tuition, really.
Well, as you said, that, you know, at our time we didn't have much of an advantage as such. Us coming, forming a tuition center, coming from that how do you say it, that lack in terms of support that we were able to provide to our children. I remember Jane was the only English teacher in Tower Hamlets. Everyone knew Jane. Like 2 years, I've been waiting for my nephew to go into her, and then 2 years later she said, Mr. Khan, unfortunately I don't have time. So, and I was thinking that possibly if we could find some teachers, school teachers by the way, who can help other children, it will be much more beneficial than getting home tutors or students from abroad who are studying here and that coming to your house and teaching your children or niece and nephews. Surely the teachers here, they're in terms of providing support, it could be communication wise or understanding wise, children behavior wise, they understand the children better. And that's where we started basically. But before I go into my institute, I need to remind all the children, I want to break down my whatever experience I have with the community into 3 parts. Firstly, nowadays we know the parents are struggling with children taking the mobile, taking the notepad off their hands. The children are spending far too much time with those devices. So I want in my message to all the children to remind you that why you need to study and how you need to study, and then I'll tell you where they can get the support that they need. If I very briefly say why they need to study, is because most of the schools, they have like about 6-7 classes every day, 6-7 period. It could be a double lesson or single lesson. Double lesson will be 3, but you know, you need to understand that the teachers will cover the 2 lessons amount of work in 1 lesson, isn't it? So most schools still have single lessons. Imagine they do 5 lessons, minimum 5 lessons in each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. At the end of the week, it's just like 25 lessons. I was listening to Maria before I came here, that she said mostly I was concentrating on my homeworks only, not much revision. Imagine a teacher didn't give homework on Monday, but by next Monday you're 25 lessons behind. In 2 weeks time you're 50 lessons behind. And there's no way, no matter how sharp you are, you'll not be able to remember everything after 2 weeks. So it's important for children that you need to study every day. Now how much you need to study, that depends which level you are at. If you can ask any teachers in this country, they would say as soon as you go to Key Stage 4, minimum number of hours requires is just for science. You've got the syllabus is quite wide. You've got physics, chemistry, and biology. They ask you to do at least 1.5 hours of science 3 times a week, and any other subjects just like maths or geography or English, they expect you to do 1 hour 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So if we add them together, minimum numbers of hours as a child needs to study outside school, if they are aiming like Maria, is minimum 21 hours. And it means even if they're studying Saturday and Sunday, they'll have to do minimum 3 hours.
Yeah.
Now, why they need to study? It's because without them spending the time with the book doesn't have Wi-Fi connection. Things from the book doesn't automatically go into your head. You have to spend time with your books. Simple as that. And I don't play lottery. I don't promote lottery. But what is lottery? It's someone winning by chances. And someone winning by chances, anything happening by chance, we say in mathematical term is what? Probability. Lottery is probability. So the greater number of people plays, the less number of people will win. So no matter how small the chances are of someone winning a lottery, if you go around Tower Hamlets or East Ham, you'll find 1 or 2% has won the lottery by chance. But from America to China, from Russia to South Africa, you go all over the world, you'll never find a single student who got A star by chance. So you are no difference. Children, I'm really sorry to say that you are no difference. Whoever has done it, they have done it through their effort. And you have to do the same. But good thing though, the difference between the lottery and the result is that no matter how passionately you pray, there's no guarantee you'll win. But if you study minimum 3 hours a day from year 10, it's almost guaranteed that you'll get better grade or at least same grade as Maria.
Interesting question that may prop up from sort of the more relaxed students. I mean, let's look at students that are maybe they're not out there to achieve 95% plus on every single exams, but still wish to have success that will get them going. I mean, are we now saying that the same burden should be put on them?
Not necessarily, but it depends how a child feels. You know, we as teachers, we believe a child or children learn better when they feel better. Now, just because someone is just bogged down with their books and reading 24 hours 7, it doesn't mean the people who are not doing so, they are not going to succeed. Of course they will, so long they have the belief in them, so long they understand, so long they have desire to do well. So remember, it's just like an egg theory. I mean, a chick needs to come out. Someone needs to break the shell. If you and I break it, the chick will die. So it's just like that. To do well, the desire has to come from within. So children, if you feel special about yourself, if you have the belief and if you work towards it, inshallah, you will succeed as well.
Inshallah. Khalid Bhai, thank you for that, and I hope both parents and students take heed from this, and hopefully, I'm going to come back onto Maria on this, because I mean, the way Khalid's put it, that's pretty much the sort of the time scale you spent, wasn't it? But I mean, like you're saying, I mean, did you find that it was dragging you down or pulling you down? Was it making you feel miserable?
Not really. There was always something to be doing, and if you keep if you keep in mind what you're studying for and your motivation, then it doesn't get boring. It's almost exciting. Like you're working towards something.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah, like hopefully it pays off.
Brilliant. Okay. Some really good advice from both ends of my studio here. One to work hard, but the other actually look forward to the motivation and look forward to the end product, and variated, it sounds like, from these guys. We've got to go for another break. Thankfully, I haven't taken a call, so I have to get most out of my guests here. But in the final segment, the telephone lines will be left open, and the number is there across the bottom. So please give us a call. Come and share us your experience, share us some good practice. Ask my guest here any questions that you wish you got asked, and let's keep talking about GCSEs and keep it going. We're going away for a quick break. When we come back, we want to look at the new grading system and spend a lot of time on that and the benefits of tuition. I'll see you very shortly. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.